Hi everyone, today we are diving into the magic of 3D design to create a stunning grass growth effect on a stone. I'll guide you step by step through the process in Cinema 4D, sharing tips and tricks to make your scenes even more realistic. Let's get started. I have already prepared model for these scenes. All we need is the stone itself and all kinds of vegetation that will grow on our object. We will use several types of grass, flowers and moss. The moss itself, it's not a 3D model, it's just an image projection on the plane. I'll show you two ways to reach almost the same result. One of them is with the help of fields. That is, growing of plants will be controlled by the field, and the other one with the help of a vertex map. Now we will use the cloner to get our plant on the stone. In the cloner, select the object, and in the object column we specify our stone. Now let's select all the variants of our moss and move them to the cloner. Now they are on our stone. Let's check if everything is fine. Here we can see that the moss is in the wrong direction, so in the cloner, in the transfer tab, we will change the rotation to -90. This way they will look upwards. Now let's increase the number of moss by increasing the number in the object tab to say 20,000. Let's reduce the radius of our moss so that we don't lose the detail of the stone. And increase the number again. I'm going to leave the number lower for now, but you can set it wherever you want. The higher number, the more natural and detailed the final result will look. Now everything looks strange, so we need to add some random to our mouse. Select our cloner and go to the effector tab and select random. And our mouse is now spread out in different directions, and this is because the position parameter is now enabled in our effector. We don't need it, so we turn it off. Here we are more interested in the rotation parameter. So we'll turn it on and set some random values. Now our moss looks more organic. Also, if necessary, we can control the amount if they do not cover the object completely. Our moss is ready, and now we need to place the rest of the plants on the stone. Rename the cloner to moss and copy it by dragging it to a new location while holding down the Ctrl K. And let's name it grass. Let's remove our moss since we don't need it again and put our grass. Also reduce its number a little bit and reduce its size as well. It looks great. Here we can play with a different variation of size and number to get the right result. Let's do the same for the other object. Copy our clone with the grass and place our flower. There are too many of them, so let's reduce the number to say 100. Great, they are too big, so let's reduce the size. Great. Now our plant have more detail, which makes them look much more realistic. Let's do that again for our main flower. Let's call it flower 2. Let's reduce the number a little bit to like 70. I like the size of the flower, but it's too far away from the stone, so we will change the axis a little bit. Let's set this parameter, pull it up a little bit, and so the cloner will take this information and place the object from the access point. Looks good to me, and now we can move our stone and all our plants will move with it. Next, we need to create an animation of the growth of these plants, and for this we will use a plane. Be sure to select all the cloners, because later you will have to add them manually to each of them. And we see the same simulation as with the random effector, which means that we have an active position. So let's turn it off in the parameter and use the scale parameter. We set it to -1 and all our plants disappear. This means that we are doing everything right. Let's turn off the plane and go back to random and add another parameter. It will be scale, so that the object have different size. This will add more details. Now in the field tab in the plane effector, add a liner field, reduce the size, and since the plane should grow from the bottom up, we animate it, go to the coordinate tab and set the, go to the last frame and move the field up so that all our plants will grow. Hide it in the viewport and press play to see the results. Now our vegetation is growing and the surface of our stone using the plane effector, where we essentially control the size of our object with a liner field. Let's add a little more realism and create another random effector. Call it rotation. And again, we don't need the position parameter. Turn on the rotation and set the values to not too high. Go to the field tab and select the field shader. In the shader tab, we selected noise, go inside, and here we'll set up some random parameters. Be sure to set the animation speed, because with this we will have an animation of the movement of our plants. Here you can choose many parameters that you like, so everything is to your taste. Now if we press play, we will see grass growing. At the same time, there is an imitation of a light wind, which will be a plus for the final result. And if we turn our stone, it will be preserved and everything will move together. Let's add some more effects. Since everything is very linear now, go back to our plane and add a random field on top of our liner field. Turn on the visualization in the settings to understand how this field works. Here, in fact, you are imposing noise where due to black and white we either increase or decrease the size of the plant. Let's turn off the liner field for now and make some adjustments. Here too, everything is to your taste. You can choose what suits you. This option looks attractive, so we'll leave it, turn off the visualization and bring back our linear field. And we see that now they work together, and we want the effect to be only on the edge. So we'll change the blend mode to overlay. And we can also add animation, and now the growing becomes a little rough, which will improve our animation and make it look a little more realistic. Let's add a camera. I'm using Octane, so I create camera from them, switch to it and reset the position. Let's move away from the stone and set the focal length to 50. And let's animate it right away. In the coordinate tab, we set a K on the direction and in rotation parameter. Now let's change the curves a little bit so that our camera moves away quickly at the beginning and slows down at the end, and do the same for the rotation. So the end will be smooth and the beginning will be more active. Let's do the same for our liner field and see the results. That's great. Now let's add the rotation to the stone. Set any values that suit you. So we'll set a liner curve. And the stone will rotate at the same speed during our timeline. Thus, we have already made animation of plant growing on a stone using a liner field. Now let's to do this effect in a different way using a vertex map. I'll turn off the rotation of the stone. We will turn off all the cloners that we have and add a vertex tag for our object. To do this, right-click on our stone and write vertex and select vertex map. And it is added to the object, which immediately turns red. We go into it and check the box for transfers. And add a spherical field, reduce the size and move it down to where the growth will begin. We go back and in the freeze, in the mode parameter, select growth. And in this option, here we set up our numbers that will be suitable for your object. I already know mine, and these are 2 and 20. Press play and see how the color of the object change, which means that everything works. Let's add a little variation and add a fifth option. Select the shader field and add a noise and change the blend mode to overlay. Go to the noise parameter and here we also select what you like and what suits you best. Here we can change both the animation and the size of the noise and even create additional layers. But now we are considering, say, basic option as it will help us achieve the result we need. Now we need to tell the plane effector to use our vertex to control the scale of the plants. So we'll replace the liner field with a vertex. We disable them and move our tag to the plane field. We turn our cloners back and see that now everything is other way around. The plants disappear instead of appearing. This is very easy to fix. You just need to invert our vertex map. And now everything works as planned and our plants sprout very organically and naturally. The only thing here is that the vertex map is linear, so to speak, and is calculated anew each time. And if we start moving along the timeline, the calculation will continue in one direction, even if we move backward. Additionally, this will affect performance. To fix this, we will make an Alembic file from our stone. Select Bake as Alembic and you are done. Let's hide our main object and check if everything works. Let's disable the cloners and now, no matter which way we move, everything works as it should and much faster. Of course, now we need to replace the vertex map in the plane effector with a new one and check if everything works. Yes, everything is fine and even faster than before. Now we have a great result and the growing is much more detailed and accurate. Also, don't forget that our cloners are now working with old stone. so it also needs to be replaced with the Alembic file we created. Just select all the cloners and replace the old model with the new one. Also, now we can make an animation of the stone, set case at the beginning and end of a timeline, and change the curve to linear, and our animation is ready. Let me show you another way to grow a lot of plants on a stone using the Octane scatter. Let's make simple render settings. Let's resize so that everything will be in full screen. Add an HDRI map. You can choose your own or use one of the browser content inside the Cinema 4D. Just enter HDR and choose which one you like. Drag it to our map. And now we have lighting. This is a test lighting, for example, so you can create everything for yourself and how you like it. Let's stop at this option, reduce the strange, and add another map. But in the Type tab, select Visible Environment, and in the texture, select the color. We can change the color as we like, and it will not affect our main lighting. We can still customize it. Let's add lighting, since our HDRI map plays the role of a fill light. Rotate 90 degrees, let's change the white and turn of visibility in the viewport and move it to the side. Reduce in size for rougher shadows. There is one life hack that I always use when I do lighting. We fix on the objects that we are lighting, go to Option and uncheck the box on the camera. Now we can move around the viewport and the render will show the latest position where this box was unchecked. And so we can control and move object and light and at the same time see everything from the camera. Let's go back, and as you can see, we don't see the mouse because I used the redshift material to show you that it's mouse in the viewport. Let's replace it with the Octane. Now we can see all the plants and it looks cool and natural. Let's add an Octane scatter and move our stone to the distribution tab in the surface parameter and change the type to surface. We see that there are many spheres on the stone, so we need to replace them with mouse. Select them and move them under to scatter. Also, we need to move the ready-made effect so they work on our scatter. So let's turn off the plane for now. We go to the settings and increase the amount of mouse on our stone. And the result is simply amazing. Now the mouse looks deep and real. We can also reduce the size of the mouse so that they are shorter, and the surface of the stone will be more exposed. So depending on your object, you need to choose your parameters. Let's do the same for the grass. Copy the scatter, name one to mouse and other to grass so they are not confused. Remove the mouse and set the grass and see how beautiful is it. Also reduce the number and size to show that there is also mouse, and this will be add a more realism. Let's slightly adjust the flowers so that it doesn't pop out of the grass, and that's it. We see everything works except for the growth of the moss and grass, so let's turn on our plane effector. And voila, everything works as we want it. I use the Octane scatter because you can make a lot of objects with it and not be limited in performance and in a cloner. Since the more objects you have, the more resources you need to calculate, so take this in mind. Returning to the first method, where we used fields to control growth, there is one bonus here. Let's go to the plane and turn it back on. We'll also turn back on our cloners and copy the moss and grass since we previously dragged them into the scatter. Also, for convenience and clarity, I will change the material so that we can see the moss in the viewport. Let's turn off what we don't need, and yes, this is a ready-made setup for our animation. Everything works with a liner field. The advantage of this method is that we can replace our object with another and everything will work. Let's check it out. Go to the content browser and load an object. Let's say it's a human head. Place it next to a stone, and now we need to specify a new object in the cloners, so select them all and replace the stone with the head. And as we can see, everything worked perfectly, and we can take any object, even if, let's say, dinosaur, it will still work. So you can make yourself such a standard set and use it in your project. You can also do this with the Vertex, but you will need to make a map for each object separately. As for the Vertex map, you can come up with many interesting scenes. For example, if we create a plane and increase the resolution a little bit, and add a vertex map, also add two spheres field, place them on a different size, and play with the settings, we will make a new growing animation. We can increase the resolution of the plane, then the drawing will be of better quality, but the performance and speed of work will also be longer. So let's go back to the previous values. And when our map is ready, we can transfer our planes to our plane, select the cloner, and specify the plane as an object. And all the planes appear on it, so we can again play with the zoom and numbers of objects. It is better to use a scatter here, as this will be a lot of object in the scenes and sometimes it can break the program. So we specify our plane and everything is now on it. Let's check that everything is fine here. And now in the plane effector we need to connect the new vertex map that we made for the plane. Yes, and everything is work fine. Let's turn on our render to see how it works. Here you can increase the size of our object and customize everything. You can also add a displacer and make an animation of our plane. Now the surface will be animated and we can get an interesting animation with the grass and plant growing on the animated surface. So to summarize, we are look at a simple example of how you can make an interesting animation of plant growing on a different object using different methods to achieve the same result. That's it, guys. Now your stone will come to life with this amazing grass growth effect. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to see more like it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell so you won't miss any new videos. And if you like to support me and get access to the exclusive content, join me on the Patreon, the link in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.